Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your June 2020 horoscope for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So I do recommend this for your rising sign, but you may feel as though you resonate with this if you are an Aquarius, Sun, or Moon as well. So first of all, we started off this month of May previously with the nodes switching their axis. And so as the North Node has entered into Gemini in your 5th house, putting this South Node in Sagittarius in your 11th house, it has been a major shift from this responsibility and this work and these habits and routines to shifting to your creativity and how you can put your talents to work to create success in your life. And so moving ahead here with this North Node being in your 5th house, it is a big time of self-expression. It is a big time of using those talents, using those gifts that you have, using your knowledge to create something on your own. Because remember that this South Node is in your 11th house, where this is about you enjoying yourself and not feeling the need to be a part of a group for this creativity and expression. So this is a one-man show for those of you with Aquarius rising. Now, also, a big event that we had go on in May was Venus stationing retrograde. And so this Venus retrograde is happening here in your 5th house as well, where this is a big time to look at your talents, your gifts, your skills, your hobbies, your activities, how you can bring joy into your life, and seeing what is truly of value to you, what is truly worth it to stay in your life, and what has to go. And this is a big realization that will come as we have Venus retrograde Cazimi happening on June 3rd. So this is Venus making its inferior conjunction with the Sun, where the Sun will burn out Venus. This is a blackout, so Venus will be completely invisible in the sky. This will be a big moment of Venus going through this extreme change. And so you can think of this as Venus changing her wardrobe, right? We can't see Venus for the time being with this Cazimi, but Venus will come out of this with a realization of a change that needs to be made. And so here on June 3rd, it's a big time of realizing this knowledge, this hobby, this activity that is no longer serving you, that needs to be burned out. For some of you, there are things connected to gambling, to alcoholism, to children, to sex, right? To these pleasurable activities that no longer serve you, that need to go. And Venus being burned out by the Sun is this major time of seeing these hobbies and addictions and habits and behaviors that have to go for you, Aquarius. Now moving ahead, on the 5th of June, we have a full moon penumbral lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. So this is a very different eclipse season that we are coming into here. We normally have 2 eclipses per season. This is going to be a 3-part eclipse. So this is starting off of this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, and then we're going to clear out the Cancer and Capricorn eclipses with a solar eclipse in Cancer, as well as a lunar eclipse in Capricorn in early July. So we are here in this space clearing out this Cancer Capricorn axis with these eclipses. And so here with this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, this is your starting point where we're starting this eclipse season by letting go, releasing, clearing. And this is in your 11th house, where this is time to release some of your old goals for the future, plans for the future, that no longer serve you, that are no longer working, major detours that are coming here for those of you as the universe is directing you in the direction of which you need to go. So for some of you, some plans that are not going to work, right? Especially for those of you who were planning to do some long distance travel, especially with the South Node also being here with this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. There is a holdup here that can happen with long distance travel for those of you who are planning this. Also, in terms of your goals and what you're trying to achieve here, some of you are being put into detours to move you into direction of something that is better for you. So old goals and achievements for yourself that are no longer working so that you can experience something better. Also, for some of you, this is a major clear out of your friends and your social circles for those people in your lives that no longer serve you. So this is a major time coming into this eclipse season where we're letting go, we're releasing these old connections, these old goals, these old plans for the future. And so with this is a big time for you, Aquarius, especially for those of you with Aquarius rising, to allow yourself to cleanse and clear out these old plans and these old people in your lives that no longer serve you. Because one of the things about an eclipse season is that this is an extreme radical change, that if we don't accept the change, we are going to be thrust into the change. And so there's a big decision here of whether you want to be pulled into this change or if you are willing to let go and release on your own. Moving ahead here on the 18th of June, we have Mercury stationing retrograde. And big thing here with this Mercury retrograde is everyone who is freaking out over the Mercury retrograde, remembering that Mercury is the smallest planet here that goes retrograde, has the least amount of impact out of all of these other planets in terms of its retrograde cycle. And we have this 3 times a year. So this Mercury retrograde is not as bad or negative as people are trying to make it out to be. And especially not going into June, as we have this eclipse season, which is the most intense change and transformation that is going on, as well as having Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn retrograde, as well as Venus, which is coming direct at the end of June. We will talk about that in a little bit, as well as Neptune that is stationing direct at Neptune that is stationing retrograde at the end of June. So a lot that's going on in terms of retrogrades and eclipses, where this Mercury retrograde is not so significant. But there is something big here to say about how this is a Mercury retrograde in your 6th house of your work, your daily routines, your habits. And this is where, for some of you, your daily routine can be disturbed. Your habits can be disturbed. Your work schedule can be disturbed. And so it is a big time of rearranging the way that you are taking care of your daily responsibilities and habits with this Mercury retrograde. But remember that we have a solar eclipse that is coming in with this Mercury retrograde as well. So there is this very small significance of this replanning, rearranging that is actually leading up to a new opportunity with this solar eclipse that is coming. Now on the 20th of June, we have the sun entering into Cancer. So this is a switch of the seasons. We just went through this Gemini season of this very impulsive, fast-paced, intellectual, talkative energy of curiosity, wanting to learn more, wanting to connect, and now coming into this space of Cancer, where this is all about nurturing yourself. This is about your emotions, your intuition, feeling it out, connecting to home and family, the past, right? Very nostalgic, very sensational as we're coming into Cancer. And so things are very much slowing down here as we're entering into this Cancer season. And this is a great time to reflect on your feelings in terms of what you want to work on. Some of you have projects that you want to work on here. Big time for this, especially those old projects that you have left behind, as this is a sun in Cancer bringing up the past and old feelings to the surface. And so, as you're coming into this new season here, it is a great time to start working on a new project. It's a great time to start building a new habit, especially because the next day we have this new moon solar eclipse in Cancer. And the big thing about a solar eclipse is that it is the blackout of the sun. And so there's always this new experience, this new opportunity that we can't see. So this is about taking a risk. This is about taking an opportunity without seeing the outcome or the result. And so as you are stepping into this solar eclipse, big time for you to start a new habit, start a new routine. Some of you starting new exercises, new diets, new jobs, new projects, right? So this is a big time to work on something new where you are serving yourself, where you are taking care of responsibilities in your physical reality and your day-to-day routine. Also, some of you with this solar eclipse, you have a new challenge, a new block to work through as well. And so with this energy here, big time to sort out any blocks, any habits, any patterns in your life, as we have this opposing energy here in Capricorn, where that lunar eclipse, that is the third part of this eclipse season, will happen in early July. So big time to make sure that you are working on any habits, any habitual routines in your life, clearing all of it out that no longer serves you, and finding a new way to approach this. Moving forward here on the 23rd, Neptune stations retrograde. And Neptune has been hanging out here for a very long time in your second house of security, of finances, of your values, of the foundation that you built up in your life. Right? And something big about those of you with Aquarius rising is you are the scientists, you are the dreamers, you are the ones who envision your plans and your goals, setting this out in a very spiritual, imaginative, creative way. And so Neptune is very much comfortable here at home here in your second house. But with it being at these last degrees of Pisces, this can be very hectic, very chaotic, as this is this last few degrees of Pisces that are being controlled by Mars and Pluto. And so this is where a lot of this escapist energy, these impulsive behaviors, these addictions, these habits, this chaotic energy starts to show up with Pisces at these last degrees. And something big to say here about Neptune being here is that this can be a big time of spending, overspending, fearing your money, fearing your finances, fearing your goals, and really dissolving your values and your boundaries in life. And so it's a big time to make sure that you are staying true to your values, staying true to your habits, your routines that are healthy for you, and not coming into this place where you are overspending, where you are letting go of your values, where you are fearing your own security and foundation in your life. Because there is something big about Neptune where it can be the most magical experience, or it can be a complete illusion that throws you into fear. And so big time, especially going through this pandemic, for those of you with Aquarius rising, that there's a lot of fear that is attached to money and security at this time. And so as Neptune goes retrograde, this is a big time to contemplate and look over to see what is reality and what is your fears, and how can you work through this to build up security, right? And very much connected to that sixth house where we have this solar eclipse energy of maybe this is a time to switch a job. Maybe this is a time to take on a new project that helps to build up your security in your life. Moving on here, on the 25th, Venus stations direct, and this is happening in your fifth house. So in this fifth house of Gemini is all of this creative energy, all of this communication, all of this self-expression that you have going on. And with Venus here, it has been a very big time once again to look at your habits. Many people struggling with overspending, with gambling, with addictions, with impulsive behaviors, with hobbies and interests and habits that are no longer serving you. And so this is a big time of clearing out these old things. And as Venus comes direct, it is a big time of starting to move into the creative expression that does serve you in your life. And so once again, this is connected to any sort of projects or hobbies that you are trying to take on during this time. It is a big time, especially with Venus being in your fifth house, to do a creative hobby, to put out a talent, to express yourself in a way that brings in income and security. And so big time to be creative, to be expressive, to put your ideas and your talents out into the world. Remember that this fifth house is also connected to fame and speculation, where for some of you, it is time to put yourselves out in the open where others can see your talents and abilities. Last thing happening here in the month of June, last major aspect, is this Mars entering into Aries. And so this is a time of this extreme energy to think, to learn, to communicate, to write, to express yourself, to have fun, right? All of this creative energy that's going on for you, Aquarius, is geared towards, once again, bringing in finance, being happy, expressing yourself fully during this time. And this third house is definitely connected big time to business, as we have this Aries energy sitting in your third house. You are excellent bosses. You are excellent workers. You are excellent business people, grabbing people's attention. And with this Mars in your third house, this is a big time of increasing this energy even more, of now you have even more energy to put your thoughts out there, to grab people's attention with your information, with your skills, with your abilities. So big time for connection, big time for putting your thoughts and ideas out into the forefront to create some growth and income in your life for those of you with Aquarius rising. And remember that Mars will station retrograde in September. And so using June, July, and August to be this time period of using this energy in your third house is very important before Mars stations retrograde, bringing up many blocks and challenges and obstacles with the Mars retrograde in September. It's a big time to use up this easy flow of energy before we start to see some difficulties later on. Now, I also pulled some cards for you as well. I pulled from the Black Moon Astrology deck as well as the Connolly Tarot deck. First card here is Jupiter. So remember that this is a great time for you to expand financially, especially for those of you with Aquarius rising, to grow in your income by putting your thoughts, your ideas out there, and coming out of this space of faith. Remember that Jupiter is this planet of hope and optimism. And so again, with that Neptune sitting in your second house, are you in a place of fear where you are dealing with your security and your finances? But it is a big time to have faith in yourself. It's a big time to work for what you want to accomplish. And so a lot of gains that can come in for you in this month of June, Aquarius. Now, the block that we have here is Grand Cross Provoker. Some of you are indecisive at this time. Some of you have stopped. You're not making a decision. You're procrastinating. You're staying stuck and stagnant in the fear or in the place that you are in. And so it's a big time of really coming up with a decision of where you want to go, what you want to do at this time, instead of staying in this place of fear. Because remember that a Grand Cross is when we have 4 conflicting energies meeting up for a decision that has to be made. And so how are we going to release this conflict, this difficulty, this standstill? Is by making a choice, making a decision. Next card here is water. Remember that you have to trust in your intuition. You have to allow your feelings to navigate you at this time, because there's something big where, for many of you, you're in these negative feelings that are navigating you in a place of, once again, staying stuck in that fear, staying stuck in that same place. And so it's a big time of using your intuition to navigate you. And we talked about this earlier, but going along with this, Pisces, it's a time to follow your dreams. It's a time to have faith, to believe that it is possible for you to create what you want to have at this time. And so big time for you, Aquarius, to once again trust in your feelings, trust in your intuition, trust in the universe to be your guide at this time. Next card here is Venus in reverse. So many of you not expressing your creative talents. Many of you holding back. And there's something to say about how this Venus energy being in your 5th house, Venus loves being in the 5th house, where there is a lot of this creative potential, a lot of this love and admiration and self-expression going on in this house, where it's time for you to use your talents, use your gifts, express yourself, put your ideas out for others to see. And don't fight against this change. Right? Many people are, again, with Aquarius rising, many people here, and for some of you with Aquarius, Sun, or Moon, are staying stagnant, staying stuck in the same place. There is this fear that is holding you back from your true potential. And so we want to remove that block, that fear, that Grand Cross energy that we talked about, by making a choice, making a decision, putting yourself out there, taking some action during this time to change your situation. Last card here from the Black Moon Astrology deck is the 1st house. So this is all about you at this time. You expressing yourself, putting yourself out there. Right? And we talked a lot about that, but with this 1st house, remember that the 1st house is your first initial approach into the world. So really big time for you, again, to project yourself out there, to put yourself out there, to express your ideas out to others. Moving on to the Connolly Tarot deck, first card we have here is the High Priestess. And so, once again, it's a big time to follow your intuition, your inner insight, your inner knowing to be your guide, your navigation during this time. For those of you who are not listening internally, this is stopping you from achieving something great. It's a big time of listening in to yourself, to your inner guidance, hearing yourself, and which way you are being navigated to move into at this time. Next card here is the Knight of Cups in reverse. So again, there's an issue here in terms of making the choice, making the decision of where you want to go. And a lot of this is emotional, right? Again, with that Neptune sitting in your second house, there is a lot of this fear around your security, your finance, your stability at this time. But there's something big here about needing to make a choice to come out of that block, to come out of that difficulty, that obstacle. It's time to change your circumstance. And so, will you believe, will you hold the hope, the optimism to start this new journey? Next card here is the Four of Wands. Once again, big time for you to celebrate yourself, big time to express yourself, to do what you love, to bring this joy into your life. So big question here is if we are going to do this. Next card is transition. So once again, this is a major time of changing your circumstance, right? We talked about that Neptune in your second house and the solar eclipse that is happening in your sixth house, where it's time for you to change your reality, change your situation that you are in. There is something big for those of you with Aquarius rising where you're at a standstill. You are staying where you are, whether this is being in a place of stagnation, of procrastination, of fear. There's something big to say here about, are you going to make the change to do something different, to change your circumstance, or are you going to stay and remain in that same circumstance? Next card is the Fool. Going along with this, remember that the Fool is the first card in the deck. It is the start of the journey. And so, again, are you taking the chance to start this new journey in your life, to make the changes, to take the path? To find this sense of security with the Four of Swords here. Because this lack of security that is happening here is due to this stagnation, this complacency of staying in the same place, staying where you are and not moving forward. And so this is a big time where if you can take this new journey to make these changes, to make these decisions, then you can create a new form of stability in your life. Last card here is the Queen of Wands. It's a big time of knowing that you are protected, that you are watched over, that you have the strength to stand on your own and to be who you are, to express yourself fully. That nothing will happen to you in this space. Big, big card of being well protected and watched over by the universe. And so it's a big time for you, Aquarius, to stand in your power and your strength of fully expressing yourself, fully enjoying yourself, and knowing that the universe is on your side, is helping you through this circumstance. So that was your horoscope for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising for June 2020. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And I want to thank you all once again so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.